Welcome to Don's Manufactory. Today is the day. I'm going to polish and assemble the 53 Les Paul. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been curing for about a month now, so we'll see how it goes. Sorry about the heater running in the background, but it's a whopping 24 degrees outside and the wind is blowing. So just a tad on the chilly side. Anyway, hey, let's get started. Starting right out with the time lapse here. I'm using 1000 grit sandpaper here to begin, and taking off about 90% of the orange peel or imperfections, whatever you want to call them. Just sort of taking my time, and I'm trying not to apply too much water to the body, of course, because I don't want water going down into the cavities or, down through the post holes or whatever, and, soaking into the finish, or not the finish, but the body of the guitar. But it already starts to look pretty good, pretty smooth. Okay, switching to 2000 grit sandpaper now. This is, you can actually see it shining up a bit there. It doesn't look so flat. This whole process took me, oh gosh, I probably spent 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours just doing this sanding and buffing. Okay, I just started right off with the finest rubbing compound that I had. No wax in it, of course. And there I'm trying to get those extra scratches out where the sandpaper was bad. Oh, man. Get a grip, Don. Okay, now I am just razor blading the overspray and the tape line out. I took a razor blade and I filed the ends so they kind of tapered up, and then I put Scotch tape on the ends so that I wouldn't have any corners digging in. And then I just went after it with 1000 grit sandpaper. I really didn't want this part, the back and the sides, to be overly polished up. And here I just have my buffer mounted in the vise. Works pretty good that way. Just got through buffing it. You can see how the sides turned out. Really good, actually. I think it's okay. It kind of looks just old and beat up. So get it wiped down here. I did have a problem with sandpaper. This is the same problem I had with my car, in that I'm sanding with 2000 grit sandpaper, but there are some 400 grit granules in there. And so until I caught it, I was putting scratches in the surface that are fairly deep, and you don't see them. You can't see them when you're sanding with 2000 grit, and as soon as you buff it, that's when it shows up. So I was a little disappointed in that, but this is the same materials I was using when I did my car, so why would the results change? So anyway, be aware, all sandpapers are not created equal. I'd like to hear your preferences for sandpaper. Have you ever gotten bad pieces like that, and what was the brand you went to that fixed everything? I don't think I'm going to take this any further. I'm just going to assemble it now and play it. Not too bad. Sorry about the air compressor. I need to polish that just a bit more. It's got kind of a haze on it in the center part there. I don't know. I thought I got that buffed enough. Boy, this buffer has really come in handy. Give it a little bit more here. Right in the middle. Well, let's see if that cured it. Oh yeah. Kind of over buffs it, makes it look better than the rest of the guitar. Okay, well, we're going to stop there. So I am not going to I don't want to put any wax on this thing. If you wax it now, you'll seal in any more off-gassing that might happen, and the finish will stay soft forever. So I'm gonna just leave it like this. I'll assemble it so I can play it, but I'm not gonna put any polish on this thing until it has cured for a long time, months and months and months. I guess I will begin the assembly work. I want to check these pots for their overall resistance. Wow, that one is 597. Holy smokes. $508. $518. $518. Okay, I don't know if that means this pot is not any good. I think I will spritz a little cleaner in there. The fact that it's so high, that pretty much means I want it in a tone control position. Oh gosh. Ah! My deoxit's empty. Dang it. Hey, fortunately, I don't know if there's any pressure in this can. Oh, there is. Good, so I got about a half a can here, so I'm good to go. So I just want to spritz a little bit in here. And yeah, it takes 2 spritzes. The first one is to get some cleaner on there, and the second one is to flush out all the dirt that you removed from the wipers. So this one's a little crunchy, so it could use to be disassembled. Actually, they all feel about the same. If I want to recondition these, what I can do is take the covers off, make sure that the carbon tracks and wipers are clean, and of course lubricate the shaft. So another thing I was thinking about doing is, when you have it apart, is to put a drop of epoxy on the end of the wiper when it makes connection to this terminal. so that the wiper comes around, and when it gets to this end, it's lifted off the resistor and the pot goes open. So then there's no capacitor in circuit. Now my friend Doug, he just took these out or disconnected them, as he did in the case of this guitar. But by just doing that little trick with the epoxy, you can then turn the pot when you're turning it all the way bright, then this capacitor is actually taken out of circuit. There's no path to ground. This pot that is at almost 600 ohms, I need to get that one apart and look at it, because it may not be any good. Then, these aren't the original ones anyway. It's not the original cap, it's not the original pots, so it wouldn't bother me to replace them. And I can always, if I want to be, keep it somewhat nostalgic, I could get new CTS pots and transfer these caps, the covers, to the new pots. So then I have new guts, but I have the old numbers. I could do that anytime you do that with like if you had vintage pots but they weren't any good, that's the way to make them new again and retain the OEM date on the pot. This gun, I need a new tip for that gun, and I don't have one. I know it's a big monster gun, but when you're putting solder on the backs of these pots, it's nice to have it heat up really quick, rather than just sitting there and cooking it with the other gun, trying to get it hot enough to flow. I've got new wire too, so I'm going to put new bus wire in here. See, this is pretty easy. You just bend these tabs up, and then the cover comes right off. Okay, I need to push the guitar over a little bit. Don't want to mistakenly drop something on it. So one side you can bend them up quite a ways, but the other side you just have to loosen them. So what holds the shaft in is this little round circlip. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let me get the flashlight. This may cause so much of a glare that the camera won't even pick it up. But can you see the wear pattern on that carbon track? They actually look pretty good though. This little thing right here, that's what stops the travel. These indents on the cover. So when you put it back on, you want the indents towards the terminal, see? If you put it here, then the sweep won't work right. Normally you can just push against the spring and get behind it and get it to go. There it goes. Just like that. The only downside here is I just stabbed myself in the finger. Okay, then that little ring comes off. And now the shaft comes out. Just like so. And you can check the wipers for how much wear they have on them. Not too bad. They got a reasonable amount of wear. And then here you can see the carbon track has wear on it. Not enough to change the value though. Wow. So that value of 610 ohms, or 600K. Yeah, $5.99. That's the way it was made. Holy smokes. Well, if I put that one in the volume one, it would be louder. So you can see where the carbon track stops. So, that's where you would want to put the epoxy. Let me get a little pointer here. Is you would just put epoxy right here at the very end. Just a real thin coat so that it loses connection when the wiper comes over it. So it works normally till it gets there, and then bink, it goes open. You know, I can always replace the pots later if I have to, because I kind of want to get it together and playing today. Okay, now for lubrication, just spritzed a little more deox on this. Here's what I use for lubrication: dielectric grease. You can even put a light smear on the pots. It will not mess up the electrical connection, and it will make the pot stay smooth and clean. The clean thing, it'll make them last a lot longer. The thing is that in a guitar like this that gets dirt and junk like that, they have, guitars lead pretty rough lives. So it's probably not a good idea to put the silicone grease on the contacts on the carbon track, because it'll make dirt stick to it. So at this point, I just got to put this back on. So taking them off always distorts them a little bit. So straighten it out. See, now with that lubrication in there, it feels really good. I know you can't feel it, but I sure can.
Just really important not to over crimp. It needs to be tight, but don't overdo it.
It seems okay, but it's still 600K when all the others are 500. So if I put it in a tone control, it'll be extra bright because it's got 600 ohms to ground. If I put it in a volume control, then that pickup will be a little hotter because it goes 600 ohms to ground. So looking at this, that 600 ohmer was in the bridge pickup. So it makes the bridge pickup louder, a little bit louder. So that's probably, I could leave it there. It'd help balance the neck pickup. So maybe somebody thought about this ahead of time. I don't know. Guess maybe I'll just put it back the way it was, because that's my starting point. I guess I'll just go ahead and clean the rest of this stuff off of here. Okay, scrounging around, I found a new tip for my Weller, so I put it on there and tinned it. Can use a solder pullet, but out here in the garage, what works just as good, if not maybe better, is the old, I'm going to turn these this way so they don't, that one doesn't need to be there because it's already cleaned off. Okay. So, I just do this. Cleans it right off. See, it just takes it right off flush. Look how much it's just caked on here. I mean, there's no need for that. And just so you know, you don't use the solder blow it method when you're working in a shop. You know, if you have a bench and you're working on something, don't use this method because you can see what it does. It splatters the solder all over the place. And I mean, out here in the garage, doesn't matter. But if you were in your electronics workstation, this would not be the thing to do. Let's try the flick method. Get her hot and just bang it on something. Flicks it right off. See, you just heat it and then go. See, knocks it right off, cleans it right up. So if you don't have a solder pullet, that works pretty good too. And this is the other downside of doing all of these methods, is that like this here, you end up with solder stuck in the cloth, which when the guitar is sitting on its face, I don't want any of this scratching the surface of the guitar. I'm going to do 50s wiring. I'm going to have to look that up. So I looked up 50s wiring on my phone, and now I got to decide what I'm going to use for capacitors. Maybe you guys know what would be the best. I've got stuff I have in stock. It's like these polys, 0.018, 0.022. I got a polystyrene, 0.015. I don't know how polystyrenes work. I mean, they're supposed to be stable. Polys are pretty common. So I'm thinking maybe I should just try a 0.022, which is kind of middle of the road. I typically like a lower capacitor value like 0.18 or 0.15. 0.022 is what they use generally. So I think that I'm just going to try that. I'm going to use those because I want to get it wired up and playing. I was hoping to be able to play it today, but geez, it's already, what is it? It's already 5:30, and I haven't even started assembling the guitar yet. I also decided that I was going to put the 600 ohm pot in the tone position of the neck pickup. So the neck pickup can be a little brighter and the volumes will be matched. Anyway, that's just what I decided. And this terminal here just broke right off. It was fatigued. It was barely hanging on there. And when I desoldered it, it just fell right off. So, you know, I can solder it on there, but then when I solder the leads to it, it's just going to fall off. So I'm liable to have to replace that pot, or maybe replace them all at some point. In the meantime, really all I need is for the capacitor, or all this needs is a ground connection. So that's not a big deal. I can easily tie the ground wire up to that and then bring it up to here. So I'm not going to worry about that at this point. Okay, let's get to it here. I need a hunk of ground wire. So this is what I'm using. So I got to decide, do I want to do the inside wrap like 50s wiring does, or not? You know, it would be easy enough to just do an inside wrap. So the although that's the wrong, this one here needs to be tied to ground, and then the tone control goes to the middle, I think. Let me get that 50s wiring back up here. See, this middle goes to ground, and the capacitor goes to the wiper of the volume over to the outside of the tone. So, you know, so all of that just drops right in there. So let's just do that. Well, that didn't work. I was hoping it would stay together a little better, but what the hey. Well, I didn't get that one turned where it needs to be. I'm going to leave them loose until I get them all soldered up there. That one got unhooked. Well, of course it did. And I shouldn't have cut that one off. So now I get to pull it out of there because I cut it too short. That's what I get for doing any of the soldering before I have things in the guitar. Yeah, that's the other thing about these soldering tips or soldering guns that are thermally controlled is if you don't use them for a little while, they just turn themselves off. Okay, there we go. So here we go. Now I'm just checking the switch here. Let's put it in the bridge pickup should be this one right here. Yep. That's what we'll do. Just throttle up. I think I'm going to put the pickups in first. Let's see what it looks like on the other side now. Okay, this goes right through here. And this is the Lawler. I'm just going to leave it there for now. If I need to raise it up, I will. I'll just put a spacer underneath it. Yeah, wrong color. I ordered a cream one, but I'll just leave that on there until it comes. Okay, now we'll lift these up. Put us a spot down in there. Okay, now I need to put those down. I need to hold them down.
This is actually pretty tedious, and you'll notice that I edited the top of my head out of what you're looking at here, so that the soldering kind of goes ahead in jerky motions. Well, hey, you know, just trying to make it a little easier to look at. This is real tedious, though.
Okay, let's make sure the volumes are turned all the way up. And the tones are turned all the way up. Yep. .5 on the OEM pickup. 7.01 on the Lawler. And just for grins, 3.6 for the pair. So everything is working. So now if I go over here to volts, we'll grab a screwdriver. Let's put it on the bridge pickup. There it is. Okay, treble pickup. Yep. Pickups are working. Everything's working. Just like that. It is now wired. Except for the output jack. Well, let's see if I got that in there. That wired right. Oh yeah, it'll go right in there. Okay. Now I just need to put this on. Okay, let's get, there should be 4 little screws. There's 1, 2, 3. It seems like it's too small. Well, maybe not. There should be another one of those somewhere. I was going to start assembling here, but I got to fix these shims on the bridge first. I think I have reached the point where I'm going to put strings on. That's an 11. Where's my 9? There it is. So we'll start off with the 42. So it is assembled. I used the speed knobs with the O-rings. Yeah, I put the thumb cutters on there. The pick guard had a lot of static electricity, so I ended up taking it back off, rubbing it with a dryer sheet, and then I put it back on and the static's gone. I had to put a 140 thousandths shim underneath the pickup to get it up at the right height. And so this is the test. I just got through tuning it. I'm sure you guys didn't need to see me tuning it. I got a little Blackstar Fly here that I'm going to use, but it'll tell me if everything's working right. And no, I still don't have the fourth screw in the plate. I don't know what happened to it. I'll have to try to get a matched set. Okay, let's go with the, let's turn on some volume here. Okay, this is the rhythm pickup, the neck pickup. Oh, pot seems fine. Let's try tone. I'm gonna lay this on its back. So this is the 600K pot here. It seems to work fine. Okay, let's go to the bridge pickup. This has got a different taper than that one. Really? No, it's about the same. And both. It's got that out of phase thing going on. You can hear the cool. Okay, woman tone. Let's see, we leave that one up. Wow. Cool. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of picking on it. I guess I'll show you it. What it looks, oh, sorry, just bumped you. It's what it looks like. It's really good. This is the first playing of it, although it's not with a real amp, so we're not counting this as what the guitar actually sounds like, because I have to go set up my 80s rig and give it a proper demonstration for you guys. Well, I got a little static going on here. Thought I had all that cured. got here is it works. Everything works as it is supposed to. Still got a little static coming off of the pick guard. It seems to tune okay. Seems to play okay. I can't strap it on yet. I don't have any strap buttons for it. So they're on their way. I was sitting here playing it, and it just was going to go right off the edge of the table here. When I first got it together, I had one high fret. It was one of the ones I pulled out. This one here, number 19. So I had to do a quick little dress down here and polish them up again, and then put the strings back on. So it's sounds really good now. I wanted to check that. Yeah, no fretting out. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. I think she looks pretty good. She sounds pretty good. She plays beautifully. Can't wait to plug this into my real rig. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. The true sound test is coming up. Thanks for watching Don's Manufactory. Thanks for taking a peek at this 53 Les Paul build. I'll talk to you later.